Hello, hello, hello. Sabine here. And today we're talking about the three vital things if you want to grow in your business, in your personal life, and if you want to achieve any dreams and get you there faster, then this episode is for you. Hi, my name is Sabine Kvenberg, also known as the storytelling dame from Germany, because stories are a super important part of your life. We grew up by listening to stories, right? And when we incorporate stories into our presentations, or just when we are with friends and telling stories, we are the ones they are listening to. But today, let's talk about the three things that I discovered that are vital if you want to grow, if you want to expand, if you want to stay in the game on the top. And especially when you are an entrepreneur or you might want to start your business, listen up, because the three things that I'm going to share with you helped me tremendously. And at the beginning, I kind of sort of knew it, but I never fully, consciously applied it in a strategic way. But of course, throughout my life in business and growing my business, I understood and learned it very well. And the three things have to do with people, community. So I call it my 3 C's of growth. And the first part starts by finding a community. And ask yourself questions. With a community, number one is, which community and why? Which community can be, hey, I want to improve my health. I might join a running club. I want to run a marathon. I want to try new things. So you join a gym, a club, or if you want to grow your business, find the right community that can support you in that endeavor. And every time I did it, it grew. And now I have a community called Vibrant Voices Network. And I am the facilitator and help each and every one in that community grow. Sometimes you might find a community, a physical community in your area that you're living in, right? Or online. It doesn't matter what it is, but make sure that community is in alignment with who you are and what you do. And I recently came back from a speaking engagement. I spoke at a social media event, and what I experienced there was crucial. Not only, and that brings me to my second C, and that is connection. Ask yourself, who do you want to connect with? And in that specific event that I attended as one of the speakers, I connected with so many wonderful human beings. There were speakers there as well, talked on a different topic. And that let me also understand one more important part. When you talk about connection, the first question you want to ask yourself, who are you connecting with? It has to be in alignment, first of all, with who you are. You can connect with someone who knows more than you, who can become your mentor, your coach, someone you follow in person or online. It doesn't matter. But have a connection somehow. And it can look many different ways. The connection could be you just follow someone on YouTube or on social media. And by the way, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, do it right now. And if this aligns with you, and give us some thumbs up, right? So that's the first thing. Is it an alignment? Who is it that you want to follow? Maybe you go one step further and hire that person as your mentor, as your coach. So these are the connections you want to have. But then there are also the connections with your peers. And in this case, these were the other speakers. But here is one thing that all of a sudden, it just made so much sense. The right community, the right connections, and both of them are super important, that it is in alignment with who you are and also the people that you want to connect with. Connections can be just purely business related. So you have that connections because, you feel that, hey, let's stay in touch. Maybe I can help you get another speaking gig, or you help me get another speaking gig because I'm speaking there and they're looking for someone to talk about this topic, maybe how to create better social media posts, whatever it is. I'm not talking about that. I have my other topic, but I know this person who would be perfect. And then I make that connection to the other event coordinator, right? And think about that. This is why you want to have connections with the people that you are in alignment with. It doesn't have to be only business. It also can be in your personal life. And sometimes, or oftentimes, it even blends. I don't know if you remember, a few weeks ago, I had Laura Marquist on my Saturday Live, and we met in a community that we both were part of, and that was the Graziosi Tony Robbins community. And then we both were part of a mastermind, and Tony and Dean were our mentors. And we were there for a while. But we felt there was a connection. And then we stayed in touch. And then we started also working together. And that relationship that we built, that connection that we had, started out business, but then it turned into a personal friendship. See, this is so beautiful how the right connection, the right person, the right alignment with that other person can lead to business and personal relationships. And then that brings me to my last C, and that is collaboration. But before I go there and give you a few tips how you can collaborate with another person, with another business to grow your business, let me just go back one more time and tell you about the right alignment with an event coordinator. So the last event coordinator that puts on the Social Media Week Lima, she is so passionate about what she does in serving her community that sweeps over to everything that she does, to the people that she serves, and also the speaker she attracts. And I didn't, of course, realize it at the beginning when we had our first conversation, because that's what you usually do. You, as an event coordinator, you have a talk, you have a conversation with a potential speaker to see if this is the right fit for your event. And we had a lovely conversation, wonderful, and it was the right fit. But what she told me afterwards was, it was not just your topic, but it was also your personality that I felt it fit into our community. See, this is super important. It's not just your expertise. It's not just the topic. It's also your unique personality, your persona, how you interact on a human level. And never forget that. And so after we were done, after I did my presentation, which went very well, but this is when you go one step further. You could, get flowers or some kind of recognition. But what she did for all the speakers, she put together this. See, do you see? It says, you are one of one. Huh. And then, look at this. She gave each one their personal, unique little doll. And I thought this was super important. Blonde, the glasses, and the microphone in my hand. This is going the extra mile. And Jessica Sutter, I want to say thank you. You are one of the kind. And I truly appreciated everything she did there. And yeah, I was even invited back to the next time. See, this is important when you are with the right community and you have the right connection. And then talking about connection, the speakers that I met there were wonderful. I mean, there were a lot of speakers, but then there were the core that naturally aligned with you. You cannot align with everybody in the world. We are all so different, and that's beautiful. You attract the right people. You are being attracted to the right people. And then there are others, they connect with other people. And that's the beauty of variety. So never forget, you don't have to become a certain way or act a certain way just to connect with another person. You think this is how they want to see you, or you think this is how you have to show up. It never works. You have to show up as your unique self. And when I realized that quite a while ago, but still working on it, and the more mature you get, the less you care what other people think of you. I'm in the stage of my life that what you see, you get. And if you've been following me quite some time, you probably realize that and notice that. And if you see this right now, at this stage, we are in like 13 minutes, and you still here, then I would love for you to put in the comment section, is that true? How do you see me? Or just put in, hey, yes, I do the same, or I feel the same. Just put any comment in there. I would love to hear and see that. So that brings me to my last C, and that is collaboration. Before I go there, let me have a sip of my coffee before it gets cold. I love coffee. Okay, collaboration. When you collaborate with someone, you multiply your reach. So the question you want to ask yourself first is who? Who do you want to collaborate with? It has to be for mutual benefits. For example, I have a podcast, and oftentimes I swap podcasts. If it's a right match, obviously it always has to be for mutual benefits. I invite them to be a guest on my podcast. They invite me to be a guest on their podcast. Perfect. And then what happens is we are reaching different audiences. Now we expand our reach. And with that, we can serve more people. But there are other ways to collaborate. For example, I am part of a membership site myself where we have monthly meetings, sometimes twice a month, where we very quickly say who we are, what we do, who we serve. And if we listen to someone, oh, that would be a great idea. Great. Then we connect afterwards. So, for example, I had one connection where we collaborate together. I will promote his product or launch. He promotes my product and launch, and we send it out to each other's community via email. Doing 2 or 3 emails that we send out. And that's another way you can reach another audience. But here's the thing, it has to be aligned with your audience as well. If you go that route doing emails, right? If my audience cannot benefit from it, I would not promote it, and vice versa, obviously. So it has to be for mutual benefit. But then, how else can we collaborate? We can collaborate being speakers on each other's summits or events, which is also great. And we can collaborate in many different ways. And even if you don't have an email list, but you have a podcast, for example, or that does not necessarily align, or you already send enough emails out, but you can tell that person, hey, I like what you do, and I would love to invite you to be a guest on my podcast. So now there is a reach, right? Many different ways to collaborate, but it has to be on mutual benefits. Now, I started this Saturday Live because of the book that's coming out, and that is Gumption. Sacred Whispers, Bold Moves, and the Courage to Become. And right now, I am building a community. And that is my launch party VIPs. So if you want to become a VIP on my launch party, then send me an email. I have the link below, or just hit me up on my social media. You can find me just under my name. If you put my name in Google or Gemini or ChatGPT or Perplexity, I just ask you to do that and you will see what comes up. So there you are. Again, this is me, fully transparent with how I show up and who I serve. I love to help others by sharing my wisdom. And that is how this book came alive. Because of a community. The community was podcasters. And I was speaking at the Podfest Expo, and I met a person that I had a connection with the year prior. And that person interviewed me on her podcast. And she was the one who said, you need to write a book. She was the one who gave me that, almost like that little nudge, the little kick to move forward. To be honest, I had that in the back of my mind. Yeah, one day I think I will have to write my memoirs, my biography, because there's just so much I have to share and have to leave behind. Talking about a legacy. What better way to leave a legacy by creating something? And a book is one of the vehicles that can leave a legacy. And as you can see right there, I did write several books, and I was also part of some books where I shared my story. So it was already there, but some of the books was all about the tools, the strategies for specific audiences. But this book, right there, Gumption, yeah, that book goes beyond that. That book is entertaining through stories, and it also shares the wisdom and some strategies that I applied to help someone go through something that they need to go through, maybe challenging situation, or just giving someone, oh wow, that motivation, inspiration to move forward with their dreams. Because one of the stories that I share there is called 4 Suitcases and a Dream. How I moved forward with my dream and even moving to a different country or even different continent to start a business. And so I somewhere between Chicken Soup for the Souls, because of the stories, Think and Grow Rich, because I do share some of those very important, what you call it, basics. So it's just truth that every successful person has applied if they want to go to the next level. And of course, if you remember The Secret, where we speak about, or they speak about in that book, about how to go that deeper level, how to manifest, how to just be in alignment with your soul. So I like to say my book is somewhere in between there. And if you want to have that book, go pre-order it now. And I'm putting a link in the show notes as well, where you can order it in Barnes & Nobles. And if you order it at Barnes & Nobles, if you are in the United States, of course you can order it anywhere. But if you order it there in particular, let me know. And I'm going to give you a little gift. Because right now, my intentions are to have as many pre-orders as possible at Barnes & Nobles, because that's how they work with their algorithm to say, okay, so and so many orders, let's get it into our bookstores. And if you have a local bookstore in your area and you would like to have a author come into your city to do a book signing, or maybe you have a book club, hey, just send me an email and I will see if I can get this in during my book tour. This was my Saturday Live today. I hope it was helpful to you. You got some golden nuggets out of it about anything what I've shared with you. And if so, I would love to hear it. Put it in the comment. Let me ask you, what is one legacy you would like to leave? Put it in the comments. I would love, love, love to hear what kind of legacy you want to leave. And then let's just see what comes up. All right, that's it. Now, the last but not least, I want to say something. Oftentimes, fear is holding us back to move forward. And the talk I gave this past week was about the work we have to do on our invisible stage, what we have to do to share our story more effectively. But the last point I made was we have to take action, no matter how messy the actions are. We just have to do it. Because when we do this, we will get results. We will get small little wins. And even if they're just so small, like I did my first live, it's a win. No matter how good or bad it was. You did it. And you have to celebrate that. And oftentimes people forget that. You got to celebrate your wins. You got to celebrate any actions that you did that moved you forward. And that will raise your confidence just a teeny, teeny, teensy, tiny bit. And then you repeat. You start again on your invisible stage. And the invisible stage is the habits that we build in private, the books we read when no one is watching, the skills we learn even before we need them. This is done in those moments that no one sees. But remember, master the moments no one sees to lead the moments everyone remembers. And I'm signing off with that statement. So now go forth and go take action. Sabine Kvenberg here. Have a great rest of the day.